Thailand is a land of stunning temples, incredible nature, and amazing experiences. But many people miss out on all this because they make a few simple mistakes. In this video, I'll show you how your Thailand trip can be doomed before it's even started, as well as 4 simple tips to make your planning easier and have a far better trip. But to do that, I'm gonna need to tell you about the biggest mistake most people make when planning their trip to Thailand. And to do that, we're gonna need some cheesecake. This is the Thailand cheesecake. Now I want you to imagine that this cheesecake represents Thailand. This slice, the beaches of Phuket. This slice, the jungles of Khao Sok. This slice, the temples of Chiang Mai. Each slice is a delicious part of what makes Thailand amazing. And most people can't wait to try the next slice. But here's the problem. Most people get overexcited and try to eat the whole cheesecake at once. And what happens when you do? Well, each bite gets less and less enjoyable and more difficult to swallow. After 2 or 3 slices, you're exhausted, overwhelmed, and regretting it. And frankly, it'll probably give you diarrhea. So what does this mean for you and your trip? When you try to pack too much into your Thailand itinerary, it can quickly become a logistical nightmare. And you'll end up spending more time switching hotels, sitting in airports, or stuck in traffic than actually enjoying your trip. But you'll also just end up having surface level experiences as you rush through the country, only really scratching the surface at what makes this country truly special. And this kind of trip will leave you needing a holiday after your holiday. But trust me, I completely understand the impulse to plan this kind of trip. Thailand is an amazing country, and almost anywhere you research will give you serious FOMO, especially if you only plan on visiting the country once. When I've worked with people to plan their dream trips to Thailand, often the first thing we need to do is narrow down the list of places they want to visit. And by doing that, I've come up with 4 simple tips that will not only simplify your trip planning, it will also give you a much better trip. Tip 1 may seem obvious to some, but so many people overlook this golden rule. When you arrive in a new destination, it takes time to settle into your hotel, get your bearings, and start exploring. And this usually takes more time than you expect. That's why tip 1 is to make sure you spend at least 2 full days in any location that you choose. Now the mistake here is thinking that I mean to book 2 nights in a hotel, but what I'm actually saying is to make sure you're spending at least 48 hours exploring and enjoying the area that you're visiting. 2 nights in a hotel could mean you arrive late, spend 1 full day, and leave the next morning, which is again probably too short of a time frame. Even if you are on a short trip, I'd still be looking at spending 3 nights in a hotel, which would then give you the full 48 hours to explore. But it's the trips to northern Thailand where most trips start to fall apart. Should you visit Chiang Mai, Pai, the mountains of Shangdao, there's so much to see and do here that it can quickly become a logistical nightmare as you try to figure out bus timetables and research remote homestays. That's why tip 2 is to use Chiang Mai as a base to explore the rest of northern Thailand from. There are some amazing places that you can visit that are less than 2 hours drive away from Chiang Mai, so you can spend the bulk of your northern Thailand trip in the city of Chiang Mai, but use it to explore the wider area. Personally, I could spend a few weeks in Chiang Mai and still do something new every day. Some of the best day trips that you can take from the city are to the highest point in Thailand at Doi Inthanon, to explore the stunning temples and mountain sunsets of Chiang Dao, or relax in the coffee-growing town of Mae Kampong. But the city itself is home to ancient temples, a beautiful river, and a number of different hiking spots, and some of the best food in the country. If you have a longer trip, or the focus of your trip is on the north of Thailand, by all means, spend a few nights in the towns of Pai or Chiang Rai, which are a bit too far away for a day trip. But honestly, it's still best to use Chiang Mai as a base to explore them from. But if there's one thing that will give you a mega case of FOMO, it's looking at Thailand's stunning tropical islands. A quick search on YouTube or Instagram of Koh Chang, Koh Samui, or Phuket will leave you ready to book your ticket right away. But there's no way you're going to fit all of Thailand's island into one trip, unless you're traveling for months on end. That's why choosing the right islands is key. But luckily, with my 3rd tip, it's still possible to cover quite a lot of ground. So, do you want to party on Koh Phangan, escape on Koh Mak, or eat street food on Phuket? If you look at Thailand on a map, you'll see that most major islands are actually grouped together. On the western side of Thailand, you have the Andaman Sea Islands that include Phuket, Koh Phi Phi, Koh Lanta, and the beach town of Krabi. In the east, you have the Gulf Islands of Koh Samui, Koh Phangan, and Koh Tao. And finally, tucked away in the northeastern corner near Cambodia, you have the Trat Islands of Koh Chang, Koh Mak, and Koh Kud. And tip 3 is to travel within these groups of islands and avoid traveling across the country to the other groups. Let me give you an example. 2 of the most famous islands in Thailand are Phuket and Koh Samui. And usually when people start putting their trips together, they have these 2 islands in mind. Now, it is possible to catch a flight between these 2 destinations, but once you factor in getting to the airport, checking in with time to spare, and the flight itself, as well as getting off the plane, getting in a taxi, and checking into your hotel, you're talking about a half-day trip. But sometimes these flights get booked, or can be surprisingly expensive. So a lot of people end up catching a bus the whole way across the country and then on a boat, and this is going to end up taking you a whole day. Whereas if you choose to travel from Phuket to Krabi, this can probably be done door to door in about 3 hours, or the boat from Samui to Koh Phangan only takes about half an hour, so it can be done even quicker. If you're spending less than 3 weeks in Thailand, I suggest sticking to one group of islands and just traveling between them. This will allow you to see more and spend more time actually enjoying yourself. Trying to visit multiple groups of islands will just burn days in transit and leave you exhausted. Pick one and enjoy it fully. But my next tip is the one that has taken me a long time to learn. But now it's one of the most important aspects of my travel planning, and it's the #1 way to make sure that I take time to enjoy the trip and make sure that I don't end up completely burnt out. Although I'm giving you all these tips, I've actually made all these mistakes before. Especially when I was younger, I had no problem running around, taking overnight buses and boats, and trying to do as much as possible during the day. But as I've gotten older, and especially now that I have a child, I've realized that I no longer want to do that style of travel. And the best way to do that is to actually plan for downtime in my trip. Now, admittedly, that sounds counterintuitive. How can you plan for downtime? Well, when planning out a major trip, you can have a tendency to fill every day with things to do. But maybe you should just, leave a space and not have a plan. For most people, that usually means a few days towards the end of the trip on the beach. Usually when I'm helping people put their Thailand trips together, I encourage them to do Bangkok and then the north of Thailand first, because it's generally a more active part of the holiday where you'll be filling it each day with things to see and do and running around and exploring. But there's only so long you can do that for. So by the time you get to the beach, it can be time to unwind a little bit with no need to plan each day. Perhaps you want to book a boat trip in advance, but most days you can go whatever pace you feel. Now, this doesn't mean just do nothing. You can still get out and explore. And the irony is, by not having a plan and just going with the flow, you might actually just end up having a better time and a more unique experience. But if you want to see these tips all in action, and you want to see how this looks like when I actually put a trip together, check out this video here to find the ultimate 2-week itinerary for Thailand.